Yeah, since after the December 16th launch of the constitutional force majeure, there have been a deluge of inquiries to the NINA Secretariat. And we come to you today with some, explanation on some of the things that have been misunderstood. Even some are distorted deliberately by those who do not want others to understand what it is. The constitutional force majeure is a culmination of a series of actions that have spanned almost a 20-year period, aimed at peacefully winding down the 1999 Constitution and all of what it brings, and the distillation of fresh constitutional protocols amongst the peoples of the defunct Federation of Nigeria, who are now being held in the Union against their will. And then the force majeure, the demands of that proclamation are such that if we look at them, we'll see that they are aimed at putting a time frame on the question of discussing the terms of this union that have been evaded by Nigeria since 1967, continuously, and so with all the grievances and agitations all over the place, bringing concern to the global community about what might happen, because even the UN had to send a rapporteur to come to Nigeria in 2019 to find out why blood was flowing all over the place. And they came up with the conclusion that the constitutional arrangement of Nigeria was like a pressure cooker for injustice, and that Nigeria has become a threat to global peace. Because if it does snap, 200 million people will be looking for shelter. And also, that the global terror networks are likely to converge here. They're already here. ISIS is already here. We see Al-Qaeda also coming to join them. And so in all of this, what are we doing? What are the options open to us at this time? Especially in the face of that constitution that we have been shouting about and taking steps. Those steps, as we saw in a previous presentation, the 16 box milestone, the timelines and the milestones on the project of intervention. What is it that we set out to do? And we took it all the way from when the 1999 Constitution came first, to when it became PRONACO, the meeting of the nationalities, to when all the other steps that were including 2007, we went to court to say we didn't make that constitution. And then the MNN Alliance, in which organizations were talking to their people, to 2018, when the peoples of the various nationalities came together in the Freedom Park Proclamation. The constitutional force majeure was simply the implementation phase for that Freedom Park Proclamation, in which the peoples of the South and Middle Belt said they would not go to any further elections under the 1999 Constitution. Now, in those 5 demands of that proclamation of December 16th, which effectively buried, terminated the life of the 1999 Constitution, we wanted the federal government, we gave a 90-day period within which the federal government had to meet certain demands so that there could be a common table of discussion under a roof. Of course, we knew they might not come, but we took the extra trouble of having to go to advertise the entire proclamation in Guardian newspaper of January the 20th. Anybody in Nigeria who hasn't read that proclamation should please go search for it and read it, especially the operative part that has those demands. Otherwise, such a person will not understand what is happening going forward in the country, because the owners of the sovereignties that have been detained here are acting together to retrieve their sovereignty. And it is that constitution that held to that sovereignty. But their signature was put on that constitution as authorization for the operation of that constitution. So what the constitutional force majeure is all about is to declare an emergency around that fraud and to peacefully pull back, that signature and go to a table of discussion in a transition during which, successor protocols will be in place. That is, what are the constitutional instruments that will replace the one being rejected? And because we're not anarchists, we're just statesmen, we're not anarchists, we also offered a transitioning. Say, let the federal government acknowledge that there's a dispute. Let there be a commitment to the decommissioning of that constitution that's not working. Let there also be, a commitment to not having further elections that will renew the life of that constitution. Let there be an express, commitment to going into that transition that will during which all these issues will be resolved around tables, not on the streets like we see things progressively degenerating to. And also that the business of discussing what will happen is that of the constituent components, not of any National Assembly or any group of people seated in one conference in one corner. It is the owners of the Yorubas, the Joas, in whatever formations they have put themselves together, that will come in a two-stage process in which they will ratify those formations and then come to discuss whether they want to federate with others. By referendums, of course, there are people who have to decide to recommit to the union or to opt out of the union. Those are the things contained in those. And we put something at the concluding part of precisely how it has to be done. That thing we put there was in the public. It was put in the public space in the period in that same 2018 when we went to Freedom Park proclamation. In the process, that's that's by way of an open memorandum to the President Muhammadu Buhari on the restructuring debate that was raging all over the country. So that it was done on the 16th of November in 2018, and it contains step by step exactly what restructuring or reconstruction, all of what people are demanding. We put a meaning to it, definite meaning. We put a definite process, step by step, from beginning to the end of how it can be undertaken. So it's not the kind of thing you sit in Abuja and be scratching your head as if we're making a strange suggestion of how the union could be reworked to the satisfaction of all of those who are now fed up. And so the key highlights of that open memo is to say that the question of restructuring is just a matter of autonomy. What level of autonomy will be satisfactory to all of those who are now complaining? Because it could be 100%, that means they want to leave entirely. It could be 80%, like Germany and France and Portugal that are doing European Union. It could be 50%, the type we had up to 1960. So in all of that, the choice is entirely theirs, and the mechanism for ascertaining what their choices are the things we put in that. So anybody who also wants to know exactly what has to happen going forward can also seek out that open memorandum to the president. You can Google it. You can go to the website of NINAS, www.freedomfromnigeria.com or ninasffn.org. You're going to see all of so between the two, the proclamation itself and that open memo, you will see what the problems are and what the solutions are in terms of practical operationalization. Let us not continue to beat about the bush. Things are getting worse, and nobody's going to stop anybody from exercising their right to self-determination, because the 12 contiguous states that passed Sharia, I'm sure we see the map behind. These 12 contiguous states that impose Sharia have seceded from our secular union. Section 10 of the Constitution says forbids the adoption of state religion. When 12 contiguous states stepped forward and acted simultaneously to adopt and impose Sharia in year 2000, they have seceded from the secular union, and we interpret it, the rest of us interpret it to mean that they've exercised their right to self-determination, and the rest of us are stepping into our right to self-determination. So there's really nothing to quarrel about in all of this. Let us accept that we have a problem. Let us go and solve that problem. Otherwise, the problem will solve itself, like we see it already, showing up all over the place.